Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the Nerd Archive podcast. Today we're going to be talking all about Harry Potter. Let's get down to it. Quick intro. We got Yad, we got Justin, we got Lola, and myself, Lewis. All right, we got Lola, and she is the expert when it comes to Harry Potter. And Yad said that he is also an expert, so we're gonna see. Oh, he was talking trash last episodes.
I was gonna
So
say I'm excited for what Yadiel has to say.
let's see how much he knows. I didn't speak. I didn't say anything because I've seen the movies, but I don't know anything about other than what I saw in the movies.
I've only seen one, the first movie, and none of the books.
Yeah, I've seen all the movies except the last Fantastic Beast.
I saw the last Fantastic Beast.
She's all cut up.
Yeah, I gotta get
I'm sad
going.
about it.
But at least the everything kind of started with the first 8 movies. So might keep it simple for you guys, I guess.
Lola, when did the first movie come out?
It came out in 2001. I gotta say, I don't remember much about
What were you,
2001.
4?
Yeah.
Listen,
5.
I guess we're old.
well, fun fact about at least Lola and I, and I'm gonna go with Yadi on this too. But the first time I saw one of the Harry Potter movies in English threw me off because the first couple of movies I saw them in Spanish, and to me,
yes.
even though obviously I knew they were dubbed, but to me, the voices that we heard the first time, that was their voices, and when I heard them speaking with a British accent, it threw me the fuck off.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. That I didn't know they were British until like almost 2010. To be completely honest with you, I had only watched the first 3 in Spanish, and like I had watched them a lot, but it had never occurred to me to watch them in English. So
Yeah, like growing up, I had the VHS and watched the first movie so many times in Spanish that when it was time to the newer came out and I got to watch them in English. Some of them later on, I was like, yeah, what is this? But you get used to it, obviously.
yeah,
Yeah, when
yeah.
I lied. When the first one that I saw in English was part 1 of the last 2, and that's what that was culture shock to me. I'm like, wait, what's happening? Why are they talking like this all of a sudden? Do they grow
Yeah.
up and all of a sudden acquire an accent? Even though I knew they were British, obviously, but it's that
Yeah.
and Shrek. Shrek, the first time I heard Shrek in English, it was, yeah.
And Ice Age and Madagascar. There's a lot of movies that I did not know that they were meant to
Yeah,
be in
I
English.
feel the same with Shrek too. The donkey song.
I sometimes,
Yeah.
porque estoy solito.
Another key on mi
But
lado.
I still watch sometimes Shrek in Spanish because that's the way that I saw it the first time, and every single time I watched it when I was growing up, it was in Spanish. All right, so
Yeah.
Harry Potter, first movie, 2001, but they are books. First came the books. When did the first book come out?
It came out in 1997, and I can't say that I've read the books. Like many other books, they're in my, to read list, but I have them all. Right now, they're just serving
Like
as
the ones
decoration.
behind Yadi,
So
okay.
there's that.
Like the ones behind the ears. Sponsored by my brother-in-law, even though he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, he will find out.
Yeah. I've taken to audiobooks mainly in some of the recent stuff that I've listened to. So if I do go back and read Harry Potter, because I eventually I will catch up and watch the movies I haven't watched, and obviously read the source material. Well, again, read. I don't have all that time. I can just do the audiobooks while I'm working. But yeah.
Right.
You could, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I started that.
and I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The last book that I read was probably in high school, and I listen. I want to try, but I I start reading, and as soon as I hit the second paragraph, I got to restart it because I lost it. That's just the way it is. So I rather movies, and I get a lot from if I feel like there's things
Audible.
missing. Yeah. Well, well,
I was gonna
if
say,
I'm with you, I think that I should be doing more Audible books. Um,
Hmm.
but if I feel like there's something missing in in a movie, okay, this didn't make sense. There must be more detail, and I know that books have more detail than movies, and a lot of people go crazy
Oh
about.
yeah.
Oh, you missed a lot of details in the movies. You also got to remember the movies are
yeah,
between 2 hours and 3 hours. You can't put too many details. You got to pick and choose as the director. You got to pick and choose
yeah,
which are the best details. And I what I gather a lot from directors when they have like steering off course a little bit. Lord of the Rings, they have characters that if they were to bring one character from the books, the movie would be over because they were overpowered. So what they did was they split that one character into three, and they gave each of those characters a little backstory or scenes in the movie just to explain what happened. But in the books, those three
And then
characters are actually
some characters, yeah, no, and some characters they cut out entirely. Case in point, Tom Bombadil. Like his character was not in the movies at all.
I completely agree, and he is a
Yeah.
great character. But for what we saw and what we got in the movies, it wasn't relevant to the story they were telling us, and it sucks. But at
Oh
the
yeah.
same time, you have to understand that that's the way the directors are going to do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, they don't really have a choice because you only have so long that you have to work with. Like you said, 2 to 3 hours. Otherwise you're having to split each each book into like 2 or 3 movies, like they did with The Hobbit. Um, and then you get people that you get more detail out of it, yes, but then you get some people that will accuse them of, oh, you're it's a cash grab. You're trying to get more money out of your audience, and it's like, okay, well then you could also go the route that HBO and them did with Game of Thrones, where you split it.
Going back to Harry Potter, um,
Yeah, we got off track there for a second.
Yeah, yeah.
eh, going back to Harry Potter, I think that's why there's a lot of hardcore fans that they're like, okay, you missed a lot. There's a lot in the books. So usually, I try to look something up when I feel like there's something missing, and I mainly go to what I think on YouTube are the experts because of their catalog
yeah.
in movies reviews and stories that they bring from books that they have read, and they fill in those gaps. So just because you don't read doesn't mean that you don't get to know those or learn about those gaps and try to learn the whole story of what happened. I know that Harry Potter
Oh, no
has a
doubt.
lot of gaps,
Yeah.
but the movies were great as it was, and it, it going back to our last episode, Harry Potter is part of society. It's the way it is. it created a fandom, and that fandom bleeds Harry Potter.
They sure do. They
So
sure
Yet
do.
another cultural phenomenon.
correct.
Yeah.
I think the next question, Justin might have to wing it because I want to know well, let's go with the first movie. Who out of the first movie, who is your favorite character?
No,
You
I was
first.
gonna say.
No,
I
go for
mean,
it,
I
Justin.
honestly don't think I can answer this question because I mean, it's tough for me because I've only seen the first one once. Like literally, I've only seen it once.
I get it. I got an answer for you. Use Harry Potter. You can't go
Yeah,
wrong.
but
Use Harry
you're
Potter.
right,
Yeah.
but
Safe bet.
but see, that's the thing though. For that question, can't really do that because you're asking my opinion on what particular character do I like over another, and it's like honestly, I can't really tell you that because I'd have to watch that first movie again. I'd have to watch the rest of them as well just to kind of get an idea, to where these characters are going and all that stuff. So honestly, based on what little information I have, I honestly can't give you an answer to that question. Looking it up on the wiki is not going to help me.
Well, when I said look it up on the Wikipedia, it's just look for the characters and just choose one. Close your eyes and point.
Don't pick Dumbledore.
Pick Dumbledore.
Just don't pick him. Just don't do it. Don't pick Dumbledore.
Sounds like there's a story behind that one.
There is, and I will tell you
We
about
want to hear it. Going to the original question, or who is your favorite character from the first movie?
I want to say Hermione. And yes, you guys will hear me say a lot of like female characters when it comes to this, fictional worlds. But Hermione, I loved Hermione. I loved that she was, a know-it-all, which is mentioned in the movies and the books quite often that she's a know-it-all. She
I
has
can
no
see the
friends. She
resemblance.
knows everything. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Between Hermione and Harry, I gotta say, love
Redheaded
Ron,
stepchild,
but
man.
not my favorite. No, it's not because he's a redhead. He's just he's cute, but he's a dummy.
Yeah, he's the
Cute, not so
comedic
bright, essentially.
relief of all the movies. Yadi, who do you think is the for you? Who's your favorite character on the first movie?
Well, like, I want to say Harry Potter, but mainly because that's why we go and see this movie. It's all about him, right? But
It's in the name.
it's
I
hard to
get it.
make a decision because, yeah. But it's hard to make a decision because you see how some characters develop, and maybe it wasn't my favorite at the
Yeah.
first movie. But throughout the series, you can see the potential. You can see what the person brings to everything, and I'm going to say Neville Longbottom, whatever.
Yep.
Long bottom.
I feel like
Yep.
in the first movie is standing up to his friends. That took a lot of a lot of courage. Yes,
Cojones.
to not let them pass, and it's like we're not gonna lose the points because of you guys, and then obviously that's not what he says, but that's what in my
Yeah.
mind he was saying.
To
But
our
it took a lot of
Yeah.
go ahead.
to our listeners, cojones means balls.
Yeah, I feel like Neville.
Yes.
Gotcha. And that is
Yeah.
why I brought up that question because I what we see in the first movie is black and white. It's a kid that gets a letter. Because
Yeah.
he's a wizard and he's going. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of. Yep. There's not
You're
a
a wizard, Harry.
character development in the first movie. That's why I wanted to say your favorite character in the first movie, not in the whole series, because I think that once you watch them all, you have a different view. My favorite character, if
Mhm.
we were to talk about character development, is Ron. I know that you said that I like to be the comedic relief, but also I think that
Yeah.
he is struggling with being the best friend of someone that is supposed to be somebody, and he gets overshadowed.
Oh no, 100%. But I do have
All
a
right, so in
question
the
for you.
first
You didn't
movie,
say
I'm
the
gonna
first
go
movie.
with the owl. Hey, he
I
brought
get
in
it.
the reason that the whole movie started is because he brought in that letter. Without him, we wouldn't have this movies.
Well, which owl?
Mhm.
I don't
You were
know.
talking about the first owl that appeared?
Yeah, the first owl. Yeah,
That's Dumbledore's
exactly.
owl,
Him.
if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
No, I favorite character. I want to say Hagrid. Yeah, Hagrid is
Hagrid,
my
yes.
my favorite character in the first movie for sure. Let's go with which one is your favorite movie?
Ooh,
Oh, that's a hard one.
that's hard.
Uh,
That's what she said.
at least for me, I would say between Prisoner of Azkaban, because that's when we're shown Harry's godfather for the first time.
Sirius
I
Serious.
don't
Black.
know why I'm forgetting his name, but I'm forgetting his name. Sirius Black. Thank you. Yeah. Um or Deathly Hallows Part 2, because a lot of shit comes to light on that one. A lot of shit comes to light. You learn who your real
Yeah,
friends are. So,
I know Justin's favorite
those
movie
are
is the
mine.
first one. Um,
Yet another question I can't answer.
The first one is a
Just
great movie.
pick the first one. Yeah, it is.
Okay, well, we'll say it's the first one, considering it's the only one I've seen.
Good choice. Good choice. Good choice.
Hmm. That'll likely change as I start catching up.
All right, Yadi, which one's your favorite movie?
I've been thinking a lot on this in the last minute, and I believe that the or- the
What the fuck just happened?
That burned my throat.
I got cough now.
That's what you said.
Whoa.
Get it
We
together,
gotta be
guys.
professional
Come
here.
on.
All right, serious,
Yeah.
serious.
Black.
My favorite movie. Yeah, I would say my favorite movie is The Order of the Phoenix. I feel like I always go back to starting at that one when I haven't
Mhm.
seen it in a while, because you get to see a lot of development in their characters, and obviously Harry's leadership shows a lot in that movie.
I do like Order of Phoenix. I want to say that my favorite movie would be The Prisoner of Azkaban. One particular reason. Azkaban. One particular
Azkaban.
reason. The first two, they were, and this is going as seeing them now as an adult. The first two, they were very young, so they feel to me like they were more
Mhm.
towards kids. There's not a lot of, yes, there is action, there's magic and whatnot, but to me, Prisoner of Azkaban, it starts showing the darker side of the franchise, and
Yeah.
seeing, and spoiler alert, finding out that Sirius Black is not trying to kill Harry Potter, but he's protecting him because that's his godfather. That, because
Yeah.
I love movies with plot twist, and there was not really a lot of plot twists in the first two.
Yeah.
I like suspense. I like movies that make me think and make me figure things out. And I think out of the franchise, that was the first one to do that. I'm not saying that the other ones didn't, but that one
Well,
was the first one that made me actually think hard of what was happening. Because in the first movie, I don't know why I was 11 when the first one came out, and I kind of saw the ending like mid movie. I'm like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. This is this person that they keep talking about. It's who's controlling everything.
Yeah, but to be fair, you did grow up with our mom who's like likes to spoil every ending of every movie because she's got it figured
I
out
do
at
that.
the beginning
I
for
do
some
that, and
reason.
I tend to call things out before they happen.
Yeah.
And not only like the plot of the movie,
Yeah.
but the, there's one particular movie that I always reference back on that particular skill, because I feel like people that do that, that's a skill. Eon Flux, the beginning scene, I actually went to see Eon Flux at the theater, and the
Yeah.
beginning scene, someone knocks on the door, and this person is about to open the door, and I don't know anything about this movie. I don't know what's gonna happen, and I say this person is about to get shot in the eye when they look through the peephole, and they haven't looked through the peephole yet, and they walk up to the door and look through the peephole, and the first scene they get shot in the eye. I'm like, okay, and that's usually what I always go.
predictable.
It's very predictable. And this was Eon Flux came out
Yeah.
when I was like what, 13. So I hadn't seen a lot of. I don't feel thinking back that I saw any like a lot of movies that I start seeing patterns. But that's the way it was for me for the first Harry Potter. I started seeing patterns, and I recognized those patterns, and I was able to figure it out before the movie was over what was going to happen. But Prisoner of Azkaban, it made me think, and I when it hit me, oh, wait,
Threw
that's his
you off.
godfather. It threw me off. It did, and it made me think my life choices at 13. You know, I there was a lot of things that I did, and like that
So you were like,
one,
I thought I knew what was gonna happen, and then it didn't happen. So I don't know.
and
I
it
don't know what
didn't
to do now.
happen. It made me rethink of that booger that I ate when I was 6, and it just I don't know
What the fuck?
why did I do that, and I just want to go back and not do it, or maybe not tell people. It is what it
At
is.
least-
Go for it.
um It's funny.
I ate a
Sorry.
booger. I'm
It's funny
sorry.
that you mentioned that with the first and second one, you saw them. With the first and second one, that you thought that they were like children's movie. But when I was a child, I remember watching the second one, Chamber of Secrets, and just being super afraid of it for some reason. It had to do something with the fact that one, during the Chamber of Secrets, two, it's super dark, three, there is a basilisk that's huge, and four, the fact that there is an almost dead body, hanging out just there, just like, oh, you see her body, I'm
and lot,
draining her life, Mwahahaha, kind of plan
lots of spiders too.
unfolding. So
Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
lots of spiders too. So it also had a very dark tune to it.
Yeah, but just
Well,
So be it.
they've been out for a while, so
I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not worried.
I'm
I am
sorry,
going to
Justin.
see them eventually, so I'm not gonna worry too much or bitch a whole lot about spoilers. So they've been out too long.
Just don't watch this podcast.
I didn't hear what you said. What? Don't watch what?
Don't watch this podcast. You'll get a lot of spoilers.
Joke's on you. I'm in this podcast.
Joke's on you. He's watching it live.
Just mute us, and we'll signal you when there's a cue to
I thought you
Put your
said
headphone again.
mutants.
Like I said, these
Yeah.
movies have been
You
out
just-
long enough. I'm not gonna worry too much about spoilers. I'm sure I'm pretty sure I'm gonna enjoy them when I do watch them, whether I know, what's coming or not.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've had that done
Yeah.
to me before where like parts of a movie have been spoiled and it's like you get angry about it, but then you go and you watch the movie and you still like you enjoy the hell out of it nonetheless.
Just
Yeah,
a little
yes.
side note from spoiling movies. I had the only movie I ever had somebody spoil was the first Saw movie. So
Yo,
I
that's a big
was not
plot
impressed
twist
when I
too.
saw it. I know. And I knew it was gonna happen the whole time, so I wasn't surprised, and I was like, yeah, no. Anyways,
when it comes
back
to
to
plot
the
twists,
story.
yeah. Well, when it comes to plot twists, I actually sometimes I enjoy those, or not plot twists, but spoiler alerts, because I tend to look forward to that. I'm like, shit, I want to see
This is
that. I want to see
when
how
it's
it
gonna happen.
unfolds.
Here it is.
Yeah, I want to see it unfold. I'm like, okay, you told me what happened, but I want to see how it happened. So
Well, yeah, no, sometimes it just makes you want to see that movie that much more. And then of course in
That's
Yad's case where you had that big plot twist in Saw spoiled and then you saw the movie and then you were not too impressed with it. And
Not in
I
that one.
imagine that spoiler had a fair bit to do with it since you knew
Yeah.
it was coming.
Right, yeah.
right.
But then it made me look forward in the next movies, like, who or what, where,
It also makes you want to watch him before everyone else too.
Right, yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break, and we are going to come back for the second part of the second act, and we are going to explain why Dumbledore should not be your favorite character. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Nerd Archive podcast. We have been talking about Harry Potter and which ones were our favorite movies, and our favorite character from the first movie. And Lola told us that we should not have Dumbledore on our top list, and she will explain now why.
Story time.
Story time.
Yes. Later, and I'm sorry again, Justin,
That's
if
fine.
this is a major spoiler. Okay. Later in the films, and by later in the films, I mean all the way to the last film, which is the Deathly Hallows Part 2, we figure out that, or we don't figure it out, they tell us that Dumbledore is a slimy fuck.
Okay.
To put it in simple terms. And I will use the words that Snape used. He raised Harry Potter like a pig for slaughter. All this time, 7 movies were thinking, oh my god, Dumbledore cares so much about Harry Potter, but turns out, no, that's not the case. He just wanted him alive to kill him.
To get him killed.
Not himself, but regardless. Sending him to his death to get him killed, yeah. And the way they do this is by the Horcruxes.
Try that again.
Horcruxes.
That's good
I'm
enough.
trying my hardest here, guys. Come on. Thank you. And there's 7 of them. And then, okay, let's take it back a bit. A Horcrux is essentially a soul that's been split and put into an object. So, say that you were going to kill somebody, in this case Voldemort, you would destroy his physical body, but you wouldn't destroy the essence of who he is, and he could,
Like
make
he
a
did.
comeback. In this case, one of this, Yeah, one of the 7 Horcruxes is Harry Potter, and in order to defeat the big bad guy, he needed to die. And Dumbledore knew this the entire time and raised him to believe, like, hey, yeah, I care so much about you, but then, actually, I don't. Die.
Ow. Okay.
So we don't like Dumbledore.
Speak
We
for
love
yourself.
Dumbledore, but we don't like Dumbledore.
I like pigs.
What, you don't like Dumbledore? Oh, bacon.
Hey, sometimes we gotta do what we gotta do for the best of everything. I know.
It's giving me Anakin
Maybe go
vibes.
back to the first episode. Maybe go back to the
I
first
just
episode.
realized that.
Call back.
Yeah. So that's why we don't like Dumbledore.
To be
That is the
So yeah,
story.
I don't know how this goes in the books. But the did he? Do you think he planned the Harry Potter to have the little? What's the name of that little rock? The resurrection thing. Did that
didn't he give it to
only
him?
work for his parents, right? Yeah, he had it for he used it
Well,
for
yeah.
his parents, right? Is that what it was used for?
Yeah. It he did use it for his parents, but it's my understanding that anybody that has it can see or bring back in ghost form anybody that has it, and we see that through
Mhm.
the Deathly Hallows story, being that one of the brothers, that's what he asked for from death, and he eventually gets his lover back. Turns sour for him at the end, but essentially, yeah, anybody that's holding it or anybody that has it in their possession can utilize it to see their
So
dead
Am
like
I
loved
the
when
one.
only one that
Harry
see? Go for it.
died, I don't know if it's, go ahead.
I was gonna say, can we see the story of the Deathly Hallows with Death giving the 3 objects to the 3 brothers, a resemblance between Death and Dumbledore, because he was in possession of the 3 objects and he gave them out.
There's a
Right.
theory that
That's
he
what
is
I'm
death,
going back to.
but and there's 2 things to support that. One, like you said, he had the 3 Deathly Hallows, which are the Elder Wand, the Resurrection Stone, and the Cloak of Invisibility. Um, and the fact that once Harry did die, the only person that he saw, well, he saw 2 people, but the one and only person that was there and actually talking was Dumbledore. Now, it could be a figment of Harry's imagination, or we could get into the whole, what happens when you're dying or after death situation, but it could also be that he is death. And then he sees, as a second dad, just as a fun fact, he sees Voldemort's soul, little piece
What
of
she
his soul
said.
that he stuck in him.
Yeah, like I mean,
Yeah.
because technically the part that died of him was that part of Dumbledore, Voldemort. So that's why he was able to withstand
Yeah.
this curse for a second time. I don't know where I was going with
Yeah.
that, but I guess that's what it was going. I don't know. Anyways, I just thought that was pretty. I think okay, that was Dumbledore's plan all this time. Even though he wanted to raise him to die, and at least he probably knew
Yeah.
what part of him was gonna die. So I don't see him as a bad person, but I'm on the other side here.
Like he saw the outcome
Yeah.
of, yes, he will die, but I see that he will come back and
Like
finish
he
what he
probably
started.
knew something of him was still gonna be
Yeah.
alive. Right. Right.
He's
My
He knew
question is,
everything.
how did he know?
You gotta trust him.
Well, that's true. Well, after he kills a child, it's
But
kind
you
of
still
hard.
love Anakin.
She says that, but again, going back to Anakin. At the same time,
And only
yes,
he
I do
killed
love
one, he killed a
Anakin.
bunch. Is
Uh,
that what it is?
I guess
He killed one kid.
he
Dumbledore killed one kid and he
he
didn't go for
kills
more. Is that why
he
you're like, you could have done more?
No, I think it has to do with the fact that Anakin killed children he didn't know, and then Dumbledore raised a child to kill him. I
But he
think that's
didn't
Oh,
what the
die
okay.
though.
difference is for me.
So
I mean, but you didn't know that.
he just knew.
How could he know? I know he was there. The theory is that he was dead, but how did he know? Because right now, or in my understanding of how that whole situation worked, is that essentially there's two souls trapped in Harry, or a piece of a soul trapped in Harry and his own soul. So how did he know that he wasn't going to kill the Harry soul and then just have a
Yeah, that's a good
Voldemort
point.
Maybe he
zombie
didn't
walking
know
around?
that all the well he didn't know that
Yeah.
all the Horcruxes were gonna be gone by then. So he was pretty weak. And by that part of him being weak, then
Yeah,
you
that's a
know
good
he
point.
just
Yeah.
didn't know what order things were gonna happen. But hey, it worked out.
But that's a good point. But maybe that's something that they explain in the books, but I maybe now talking about all this,
Possibly,
I
it
don't
yes.
makes
have
me
it here.
think it makes me think, or it makes me wonder if, because those souls are not supposed to be there, they're technically on the surface. So
Yeah.
if you kill or you destroy that object or that person that has that part of that soul, technically you will kill the soul first because it's not
Yeah.
part of his body.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Ta-da! Justin, you look like you want to say something.
To be honest, I'm just sitting here listening to you guys. I mean, it's kind of a
He's me from last week.
yeah, no, it's basically like a history lesson for me.
Man, I
We
have
just went
way
from
too much
first
to
to
say.
last right away.
Yeah. I have way too much to say on
Yeah.
this topic that I don't know much about.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
But did you get to see them all?
Yeah, I saw them all.
Oh, okay. I thought you for some reason I thought you mentioned that you only saw to I don't know one of them like
I
one of
saw
the
all
last
of
ones,
them,
but I guess you
including
meant the Fantastic Beast that you
yes,
haven't seen.
the last one, that last Fantastic
Okay,
Beast. I saw. Is that the third one, the one that just came out, or is that the second one? That's the third one.
third, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I saw all the way
The
through
third.
the second Fantastic Beast, which when the first Fantastic Beast came out, they were before it came out. The biggest theory was that it had nothing to do with the Harry Potter story. And then later they tie everything
Yeah.
in. I mean, I haven't seen the last one, but they bring in Dumbledore, and I didn't think that when when they first talked about it, or before it released, they never mentioned that it was going to be a Dumbledore. So I think that was pretty neat that they actually tied it all in, and they actually serve as prequels.
So, Fantastic Beasts 1 and 2 has Dumbledore in it. And I also believe that they're set 30 to 40 years before um Tom Riddle,
Right.
which is Voldemort.
When does the last one take place? In what year? Okay.
1930
Damn,
something,
Dumbledore aged a lot.
if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Well,
as
he's
in like
150 years
his
old or
body aged a
something around
lot.
there. And yes, he did age a lot.
Because in
Yeah, he did. Well, having to
no,
deal with
I
kids
great
He
point.
also
for
goes back in
years.
time.
True.
He lived a long life
Yeah.
going back in time too.
Damn. You hit me with
I
that?
don't know if he did, but I'm guessing.
Damn, I believed it.
Uh, I believe the film is set, I think, 1932.
You
When
actually
was the
said
first
39.
of Harry
36.
Potter? I forgot. Let's see. You want to look that up, Justin?
19.
Justin the intern.
I actually have the answer for this one.
Because I never care about the dates until the Fantastic Beasts came out, but I never actually looked deep in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I believe it's 1995 or 1990, not 1996, 1995. With the
Right. Okay.
movie, with the first
So
one
there
is
you
set.
go. He actually aged as he should have.
1995, and he was
I'm
11 on that first film, not 1995 when they
Right.
take
Yeah.
him to the
I'm glad that
aunt
they
and
did
uncle's
that
house.
because if you look at the
Yeah.
X-Men movies, the first trilogy
Right.
of X-Men came out in 2000 is present time, and the last one of the X-Men movie of the second batch, it is set in the 80s. And I'm like, man, Xavier, he aged a lot in like what, 15 years.
Yeah, aged quite a bit on that.
I'm like, damn, man. Like,
Well,
I understand.
you just gotta delete the characters or the actors of it. I don't think about it anyways.
And the only reason, right, but to me the only reason it's a problem is because they actually interact with each other. So it's not like it's a
Yeah.
different timeline, and or essentially it is, but it's not like it's a different complete story, and they kind of erased the first trilogy. It's they tie it in. I'm like, okay, you fucked up. You fucked up.
It's a
But
multiverse of madness,
yeah, ooh.
Yeah.
Just right there. Just throw that in.
Yep.
Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Well, when this episode air, hopefully all four of us have seen Multiverse of Madness.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Is it coming out tonight?
Tomorrow.
Yep. Tomorrow.
I almost bought a ticket. Anyways. We'll see. Kids.
What happened?
Yeah, we're gonna age a lot. Oh, maybe that's why Xavier
was
aged
gonna
a
say
lot.
that.
He had to take care of a lot of kids.
When I was little, I found my first when the first movie was out, I used to look out the window in Puerto Rico and hoping that a bird came by with a letter. I was going to shoot him down. Una tórtola.
Paloma.
I used to go to the pigeon park a lot, just hoping they were there for me.
And I always wish, and then I usually, took a stick out of the ground and I went like, look at it.
Paula, this is your
Oh man,
your
those
moment to
videos.
shine.
I don't have any wands on me.
Oh yeah, you left them at your house.
Yeah, I have 8 of them now. Wands are to me
I figured.
what lightsabers are to you.
You have them all?
Yeah.
I don't. I have Snape's, I have Hermione's, I have Harry's, and I have
Nice.
Nicholas Flamel. Yeah, who's one of my favorite characters from the Fantastic Beasts, era. And then that was the first batch that I got, and then the second batch, I went to the Harry Potter store in New York, and they have specialty ones. So I got one of the Locket of Slytherin, which is one of the Horcruxes. I have one with the Phoenix from Gryffindor. I have one with the Golden Snitch, and I have Actually, I don't remember what the
Nice.
Golden
last one
I
is.
snitch
always
Yeah, I
wanted
is
have
to
it.
buy
a
one. I
slang
never
for
did.
prison.
Yeah. Get them. You can get them from
Novel
Amazon and get
collection.
them from the Noble collection. They're beautiful. They're sturdy. Yeah, and they're like $30 instead
Yeah,
of
I'm
50
That's
or
very
gonna
60.
noble.
get one now.
Yeah,
Do it. Do
do
it.
it. Do it.
Nicholas Flamel.
Um,
It's so funny.
no, I don't have any
That's so
questions.
funny.
Nicolas Flamel.
When the guy break his
Why?
hand without knowing it, it's just always funny to me when I rewatched.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, he's so fragile. He's been alive for so many years.
Uh,
He's also dried up.
yeah, he's
Lack
I
of
know he
water.
in
passed out,
in
but yeah.
Fantas.
Lack of water.
Huh?
Um, in
Yeah.
the so when they mentioned him in the first movie, I don't remember how old
Mhm.
Dumbledore said that he already was. I think it was in the 400 or 500, but I don't remember.
I remember the line that you're
Right.
talking about, but I also can't remember the number. Maybe 400
Yeah,
year.
don't remember. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's already like 300
So
years old at
he's
least
old.
in that Fantastic Beast.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
anything
that's
over
why he's
100 is
dried up.
already
Yeah.
impressive.
That and a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
living mummy.
he's he's very, very, very dry.
All right, guys, we're going to go on a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about who is our favorite character in the whole entire series and why. So stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to be on this segment, we're going to talk about who is our favorite character on the whole entire series of Harry Potter. And we're going to mix it up a little bit. How about if we include also Fantastic Beast, the characters of Fantastic Beast also, and why?
I would say from the Harry Potter series, definitely Snape is my favorite. And again, it's from the character development, and then what we come to find out later in the movies. Him and Newt Scamander. I
Hey,
still like Hermione, man. She's still a know-it-all, but now she has friends
and a boyfriend, future
So,
husband.
and a boyfriend, dude. Yeah, future husband. Also, actually, I'm gonna take it back. Snape and Draco. Love Hermione. Let's put her on the back burner. Draco Malfoy, his character development, and what we come to find out later on, especially with some theories that have come out. Definitely my favorites.
After we are done with telling
Definitely.
our favorite characters, I want to hear this theory. I love theories.
Yeah, it's a hard one to select because you want to select so many,
Who do you
from
think? Who?
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: who do you think first when you think about Harry Potter? Like who comes to your mind?
always Harry Potter. Mainly not because of the name, but mainly because I really enjoy how he grew to be a great magician, without knowing a lot of his backstory and um, becoming a strong wizard, like he is a strong one, and you gotta give that credit without,
He's the chosen one.
yeah. From the
He
new
is the chosen
series,
one.
though, I really like what's his name, the side character, the non-match. Oh my god, yes,
Kowalski.
But he's funny.
mainly
Though.
because he's a good
Kowalski!
baker.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
want to see the last one because I want to see when he gets to do some magic. He's one of the first
Yeah.
not mudblood, but he's
Muggle.
well, I mean, he is gonna be a mudblood.
Because the mudblood insult is for
Yeah,
half-bloods. It's for people that have
Well,
a
don't they
magic parent and a
call her
non-magic
Magi
parent.
but even though but both of her parents are none,
But she has
right?
magic.
Well, the
Yeah.
but the
She's double the
mudbloods
mudblood.
are not just from one parent that has magic, and so that's why I say that he's probably
Yeah.
one of the first ones. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say that. But anyways, I like that character. He's funny and
Mm-hmm.
get even though he's scared, get things done and helps.
And it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
he
and it's
also has a
also
lot
good
of
to have a
cojones.
good sidekick that knows how to bake.
Yeah.
It's because
Yes.
you get hungry, you guys are planning, you're doing your plans, and all of a sudden here comes the bread, here comes the tortas, here comes, I went full Mexican on that one.
People gotta eat.
People gotta eat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but one of my favorite characters is
Voldemort.
Dumbledore.
Sorry. I don't blame you.
What did we
I don't
just
blame
talk
you.
about?
Hey,
I get it. I still love Dumbledore.
hey, listen,
He's a little
he
shit.
had to do what he had to do, and
Yeah.
we see characters that they have to think about the masses and not just one person. So
Yeah.
it takes a lot
Yeah.
of courage and a lot of cojones to say, even though this kid, he's just a kid and I probably don't want to do this, but it's gonna save everybody. And let's just
Yeah.
put it out there that let's say he didn't know that he was gonna survive, but the fact that he was gonna die was gonna completely weaken Voldemort, and he was gonna be easy bait, easy
Mm-hmm.
money. So, and
Yeah.
it just happened to be that Harry actually was able to finish his job, and
Yeah.
I mean, Voldemort did a lot of the cadaver, but
Yeah.
listen, I was rooting kind of for Voldemort until he killed Batman, and that's a very
What?
very sad.
Confused.
Was his first kill when he came back.
He killed my boy. Cedric Diggory. I can't say those British names
Cedric.
They are in
in
English.
I'm sorry. Cedric. Yeah, I can't say them though. Cedric, fine. Cedric,
Gregory.
it's a little bit harder. Grigori.
So yeah, he killed my
Yeah,
boy
there you
Batman,
go.
and I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. So
Well, let's backtrack a little bit. At the time, he was not known for Batman,
But he was still
so
a vampire.
he killed your vampire. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Hey man,
Okay.
vampires have always been my shit, and seeing a vampire turn into diamond skin,
I'll say it's like a sparkly vampire,
it's sparkly vampire. It's like a yes, he is.
like glitter.
Sparkles.
He is a vampire that got bedazzled.
Well, if you were in like an apocalypse or an eclipse and you needed light, you could theoretically get a UV flashlight
And kill
shine
him.
up him. Would shine up. Well, he doesn't seem like light affects him that much. I'm not really, super into the Twilight universe, but he's standing in a sun.
Yeah, we're talking
on a
about
sun ray. That's why he's
Edward,
shining.
not Edward. Is that his name? No.
Cedric.
No, I said
You
Edward.
see how hard it
From-
is?
You said
Thank you.
Edward.
from his vampire times.
Edward,
You said
Edwin,
Edric.
Cedric,
Edward.
Edward Cullen.
We're talking about Edward Cullen, not
He makes
Blade.
both of them.
In
You
Blade,
lost me on that
as soon
one.
as
I've
they
only seen
hit the
the
sun,
first
they
one.
blow up.
Oh
Except
yeah.
Blade.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, theoretically, he didn't blow up. He
Who got
got
sparkly?
sparkly.
That's what I said.
Edward Cullen,
I didn't hear
bro.
you.
Like, why are you lost?
Listen, going back to Cedric, he killed Cedric, and that was tough. That was tough. Although, okay, real
Yeah.
quick, what? Let's see if you remember a line that always sticks to you from any movie.
Any of the Harry Potters?
Yeah, any line that you remember other than "Abracadabra."
I
What?
have one.
I have one,
Hmm.
and we just talked about it. Sangre sucia inmunda, which means mudblood. Like I said, I can quote the first 3 movies by heart in Spanish. I can't do it in English.
Yadi, what's
Yeah.
your favorite line, or the one line that you can remember?
It's from the second one. It's Scare Potter. You wish.
Yeah.
It's funny because one of my favorite lines right now is actually a TikTok trend, and it's when they're quoting Voldemort. He says, "Harry Potter, the boy who lived, have come,
Has come
to die."
To die.
Has come to die.
That's
Yeah.
I don't know why that's always. It's just the way he says it. It's like his voice.
It's a great actor.
The
great
voice
actor.
who lived has come to die.
It's very like
Wait,
It's probably because he has that
yeah.
from
the
Dark.
voice who lived.
I wonder if it's the lack
I
of
think so.
nose
It's
that
that
just
he
makes
gets
him speak
winded when
like
he's
that.
saying Avada Kedavra. Avada Kedavra.
Avada Kedavra.
He can't breathe. He can't say it.
Oh, sorry. Mad-Eye Moody
Nice.
is also one of my favorites. Forgot him for a second, but he's a really, really good character.
Sirius Black, for sure.
Yeah, him too. There's a ton. There's a ton
Ron's
of great
mom
characters
actually
in that
is
series.
pretty strong.
She's a badass.
Molly, yeah.
Not my daughter.
Not my. What is it? Not my daughter, you bitch.
I was thinking of that one, but it wasn't gonna sound good.
Yeah. Or
How dare you?
Ronald Weasley. How dare you take the car?
So
It's good. It's a good.
Justin,
It's good.
that line that they just quoted,
Mhm.
Is a letter that Ronald gets from his mom, but the letter, the envelope actually talks with her voice, and everyone.
What's the name of those letters?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Voicemails.
Howler.
Howler
Yeah.
letters.
The earliest version of voicemail.
Yeah. Everyone in their what's that place called where they're all sitting? Is it the main hall or
I was gonna say the Commonwealth.
My hip
I guess I
just-
got a question
that's
too
tough.
for our Harry Potter theme. Which house do you
Ooh,
feel
that's a good
like you
one.
belong? Yeah. Is it everybody asks, and I'm pretty sure all the fans have taken their test online. Yeah.
I did. I know I did.
I have not.
What'd you get? I mean, I already know. Justin, Justin, I'm gonna put you on a intense Harry Potter schedule.
Well, I
I
want to
would
take.
literally need to walk away from work for like 2 months to catch up on literally everything that I'm like so far behind on.
Yeah.
I completely agree. All right, so going to the question that Yadi just asked, which house would I pick? I think I would go with Slytherin. And when I took that test, that's where
Yeah, me
where it
too.
went.
Well, it's funny because on the last episode we talked about if we would choose the light or dark side. And when I first took the test the first time, it sorted me into Gryffindor, and I took it a couple years later and it resorted me into Slytherin. So you
Yes,
can
yeah,
see where I'm coming
that
from.
actually happened the same thing to me.
Yeah. So we're all Slytherins.
Yeah.
Slytherin.
That's cool.
Did you all download the Wizard app? Like
No.
when it came out? I haven't played it
No.
actually in a long time. But when it came out, I took the test, and that's where it took me to Slytherin again. So I thought I was a Gryffindor,
Yeah.
you know. Being a fan of the good side of things, I always thought that. But Slytherin
Yeah.
is not bad. It's just there happened to be people that
It's
came
not.
came out from that house that turned out to be bad, but not everybody. Look at Snape.
Well, I see it kind of sort of like Gryffindor's like book smart, and then
True, true.
Slytherin's like street smarts. So they have that mentality of like they could be coming from this place, but they could also be coming from this
Mm-hmm.
place. So I think that's what makes
Right.
them a Slytherin.
All right, so let's close out with the theory that Lola had about Draco.
Yes. So there is a theory that Draco has been helping Harry, Ron, and Hermione from behind the scenes the entirety of the movie series. Um, One of the main things that people have pointed out is during Chamber of Secrets, um, in order to find and defeat what is turns out to be the basilisks, um, Hermione. The whole thing with the basilisk is if you look at it straight in the eyes, you die. And that is how Moaning Myrtle died. However, if you look at it through a reflection, you get petrified. And so there's all these kids turning up petrified, and eventually, spoiler alert, Hermione turns up petrified as well. And she was coming out of the library and she had a book page in her hand. And I think a lot of people may have overlooked that as well, she's a bookworm. So it makes sense. But also at the same time, it doesn't, because Hermione is not one to be ripping pages out of books because she's a bookworm. At the same time, at the very beginning of the movie, once we see Hagrid and actually I don't remember. Yeah, it's Hagrid and Harry Potter in Diagon Alley to go buy their books. They show very briefly inside of this bookstore Draco standing at the top of the stairs looking inside of a book and then ripping out a page, putting it in his pocket, and coming down the stairs. And the next scene right after that is Lucius Malfoy takes books out of Ginny Weasley's cauldron, and then he hands them to Draco, and Draco puts it in her. Actually, I think it's Malfoy that not Malfoy, Malfoy Senior, that puts it back in the cauldron. But there's a theory that Draco slipped in there that page, and we know that the reason why Ginny Weasley has Tom Riddle's diary, it's because of Lucius. So the theory is that he essentially is the one to tell give it to Ginny. Ginny gives it to Hermione, or Hermione finds it in Ginny's stuff when they're, searching why somebody's trunk got opened and scattered all over the place. So like somebody was searching for something, and that's where she found it. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's how the theory goes. And yeah, it's essentially Draco knowing what's to come and helping having a way to prevent it from, one, people getting killed, and two, finding a way to fix the problem. And then to support that theory even further, we see that in the Deathly Hallows, I can't remember if it's part 1 or part 2, he recognizes Harry's face gets disfigured from a spell, and Draco recognizes him, but he doesn't, rat him out. And then later in the very last film, we see him trying to pick and choose a side of if he's going to stay with the good guys or the bad guys. And in a deleted scene, he chooses the good guys.
Damn, I wish they would have just kept that in the movie.
A lot of fans do too, including myself. You know that scene where Hagrid is carrying Harry's quote-unquote dead body? And then he drops to the floor. The one who tosses Harry his wand is Draco. That's the deleted scene. So
that's a good theory.
From that theory, now it got me thinking. You think that Malfoy is the one that actually allows Dobby to leave the house? I don't know if they have rules of not leaving the house, but I think that he might have. Right, so Malfoy might have sent Dobby.
I feel like that is a good possibility, just because Draco's not necessarily included in the Death Eaters conferences. I don't know, do they have a business meeting or stuff like that?
They have a podcast.
But essentially, but I'm sure he can overhear whatever they're talking about. And I have a feeling that he is the one letting Dobby leave the house to tell Harry Potter, and that's why he's always like, Harry Potter must not return to Hogwarts.
I just thought of it.
Yeah.
That's a good, great theory, and it makes you think a little bit of more of his character.
Yeah, that's why I say like the character development that we see from a couple of specific characters really puts
and a lot of
everything into perspective.
Going back on that, and the way that he interacts with Harry, a lot of the interactions that they have, they're not alone. So he's got to keep a persona.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense as to why he's always like a scared little shit. He's essentially saying that he's got to keep up that persona, because all of the people that he hangs out with, they're friends, or their parents are either Death Eaters or they're friends with Lucius.
All right. So do we have any more theories? Do we have any more questions?
I don't have a theory, but I do want to point out something that it's apparently
allegedly.
In the books.
Did you read it on the internet?
Allegedly. I cannot confirm. I either read it or I saw a video on somebody telling the rest of the world. Essentially, something that they do mention in the movies is the prophecy of Harry Potter, or the prophecy of a child born in either summer or July. And that is who that Professor Trelawney made, and that is who will defeat Voldemort. Something that they don't mention is that Neville and Harry Potter are like a day away from each other's birthdays. So it could just have as easily been, you know how Voldemort killed Harry's parents and then tried to kill him so he couldn't, defeat him later on. It could just as easily been Neville. And I do find it that pretty cool that they use both Neville and Harry as the ones who essentially defeated Voldemort.
I never put that together.
Neville became the hero that everybody needed too. And a leader at the end. That's pretty,
and a
Oh,
leader.
actually, before we go,
yeah.
one more question. Which death did you feel the most? I'll go Sirius Black. Yeah, either that
Sirius
or
Sirius Black.
Cedric. It's the whole scene.
Yeah,
The
mine
whole
were
Yeah.
the whole thing that happened away from everyone.
Also, super shocking is I think her name is Lavender's death. She got literally eaten by a wolf. And they don't like mention it. They just briefly show the scene and then they pan out. Like, no, go back. You need to talk
Yeah,
to me about
there's
this
a
that
lot
just
of
happened.
People that died really, really, really badly in that last movie. I think that the one
Yeah.
that I
Very gruesome deaths.
cried a little bit. I gotta acknowledge that. It's the twin, one of the Weasleys.
yes.
That was sad.
Yeah.
What about the couple that died when they were
Yeah. Nymphadora and
Yeah.
Lupin, also very heartbreaking. Also, here's two theories. One, Nymphadora, or I don't know if it's a theory or if it was a known fact. Nymphadora
I
was
think there was.
pregnant
I think they
when she got
mentioned it in the
killed.
movie. Because I think I remember that too.
Okay. And then yeah, or I may have mentioned it too. I
Probably.
talk about this fucking constantly. And the other theory is that was it Fred or George? It was Fred that died. George used to go to the mirror of Erised, which essentially shows you your deepest desires, and he used to see what he thought was himself with two ears, and the way they explain the theory is that he was very confused as to like I don't want my ear back, and then he realized, oh, that's my dead twin. Yeah, I do want
That's
that back,
sad.
actually.
That's really sad.
All right,
We have
before
to
we
end
go
on this note.
Yeah.
No.
What?
No. Listen. After that, I need to. I have to request something. Yo, Yadi, do you
Happy
have a
thoughts.
trivia? Because we talked about trivias.
My question is, what's the name of the forbidden curses?
It's the Cruciato spell, the death spell, and I can't never remember the last one.
How many times you get this asked?
Huh?
You said you can never remember the last one.
Don't worry about it.
Come on, Luis.
Oh, you're asking
What
me?
are
No, that's
the
not
name?
gonna happen.
Yeah. You want me to tell him?
Yes.
All right. Avada Kedavra, Imperius,
Yeah.
and Crucio. I was gonna ask another question, but that was gonna be hard because I wouldn't have remembered this at all. So I'm gonna skip it. Oh, okay.
Go for
What
it.
are the real names of the four marauders? Marauders? Yeah, there you go.
Marauders. Those are the it's Padfoot, not Mad-Eye, Padfoot, Wormtail, and those are the only two that I know. Those are the James Potter, not Snape, Lupin, Sirius Black, and
Yeah, you got him.
Peter Pettigrew.
10 points for Slytherin.
Yeah.
But they're the oh, there you go.
I got it right. I'm part of the program now.
Yay.
One more. Let's finish up with one more trivia question from Yeti.
There's so many good ones. It's hard to think of one. This one is easy. And Lola, let's leave the newbies here. Just kidding.
Okay.
Who killed Dumbledore? Oh, is that confusing?
I thought that Lola was gonna answer.
Well, he said to like leave it for the newbies, so I left it for the newbies.
Just give you guys a
Severus
chance to
Snape.
win some points. Who?
Severus Snape.
Oh, I thought you said Severian Snape. I was like,
Yeah,
That's not-
No.
that's not good.
That's his cousin.
No, his
True.
cousin's
Mi
Bellatrix.
cousin is Bellatrix. Severus Snape. It's supposed to be Malfoy,
Severus.
but he doesn't do it. And Snape,
Because he's a good boy at
fuck
heart.
him. He's a pussy.
Well, he literally says like he's gonna kill me if I don't.
But
do
then
it,
he
he's
didn't do it
gonna
and he
kill
didn't
me.
die,
It's like, okay,
so-
I get it. Well, you can't have it all. That's all I gotta say about
All right.
that.
That's it.
Oh, I was gonna ask something too. You mentioned Bellatrix, so I was thinking of the family tree from Sirius Black's house, or the Order of the
Yeah.
Phoenix thing.
Yeah.
So she is related to him, and also to Snape.
Yeah.
She fucked up.
Oh, okay.
I don't know Snape, but I know she's also related to and Ron, because Ron and
Ah,
Draco are cousins. But the reason why they're cousins is because they're all from that same
distant.
family tree.
yeah. She Bellatrix is Malfoy's mom's sister. So yeah. I remember
It
from
took
that.
me a minute, but yes.
last-
She's a cousin twice removed, 4-time bleached. All right, that was trivia time with Yadi. This was Yadi, Justin, Lola, and Lewis. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next week. Bye.
Peace.